All right, welcome to day 0 of the hackathon. I'm going to be uploading a video every single day over the course of the next 10 days. My objective with this is to show you what my workflow looks like. If this is your first time vibe coding, great, you're going to learn a shit ton. If it's not, great, you get to criticize and also at the same time be, maybe you're doing this way, I would have done it that way, which is better. So really, I'm just publishing this out into the void. None of these suggestions, none of my recommendations are sponsored. So let's get into it. This series is really for people that have an idea, that are interested in creating something. And I don't know about you, but I've often found myself in a position where it's easy to find friends that are, oh, wow, I'd love to do this, I'd love to build that. But that's really where the conversation ends. And whilst we can have a very big conversation about how artificial intelligence is impacting the labor force, how it's impacting our economy, and there's a lot of pros and cons, this is not that place. I'm going to try and look at it from a positive point of view, meaning how can it empower you? How can it empower people with ideas to take that idea and then actually end up with a real product that can positively impact people's lives? And I think that's really exciting. So for me personally, I try and keep my stack, so the tools I use, quite simple, quite, concise. So I limit it to 3 tools. These tools are Bolt for everything that has to do with the aesthetic and the front end, essentially the design, the flow of how your user/customer will navigate the website. Na10 for everything to do with the back end. So for logic, for thinking, for things that maybe need to access, an AI model, access Wikipedia, access all sorts of data, you want to be using Na10. If you don't have experience working with Na10 before, no worries. The aim of these 10 videos is also to explain, take you step by step with how you can go, from 0 to pro, as they say in these in these cringy videos, to get you basically to where you want to be. Lastly, for everything that has to do with your critical thinking, for questions you may have, challenges you may be facing, you want to be prompting traditional models. You don't want to be asking Bolt, hey, whilst you build me this gorgeous website, can you please also tell me the top 10 reasons why my business may fail? What do you think of this prompt? Is it good? Is it bad? It's pretty meh. It's pretty meh, to be honest. We're missing key context, all right? I've not, for example, added or mentioned that I'm using Na10 as my software to then send the email. Because again, Bolt, as far as I understand, is unable to do this. Feel free to correct me in the comments. So I want to tell this to the model. I want to clarify, these are the tools I'm working with. How can I go about this? Because then the model can actually access the relevant documentation and give you advice that is contextually relevant. I am using Na10 and the form and the front end says the form has sent, but nothing is arriving in the mailbox. All right. So by default, it seems to have prompted Gemini, but here's where the tool gets interesting. If I'm not happy, for example, with the response from Gemini, as you see here, I have a little reprompt with, and I've got all these options for tools. I want to go for GPT, I want to go for the thinking mod, etc., etc. I'm not going to waste resources by just, prompting randomly, but you really have a wonderful playground to be playing with regarding Mammoth. And now we're at a stage where you want to see what it takes to send an email. That's the complexity. That's the workflow we're working for, right? Simple as you have the front end, which sends out the form. So the front end on Bolt sends out the form. It then sends me an email to say, hey, someone has sent out a form. It sends a confirmation to the user with whatever text I've inputted saying, thank you for contacting Lingo Skills. We've received your message and we'll get back to you. You can modify this as you will. I'm not going to delve into the JSON or the code so much for now. That's, we're going to delve deeper into Na10 later, but I just want to put forward, this is such a powerful tool. And ultimately, you get the response, you send back the response, your request has been treated. And in this way, just with Bolt and this simple email setup in Na10 that you can find yourself, I now have a fully functioning landing page in a matter of minutes, which enables potential students who are interested in learning French or English to send out a form. I'm informed that they filled out a form. They receive a confirmation. I can contact them. Bada bing, bada boom. All right. And that would have taken weeks, probably for competent developers, months beforehand for incompetent developers such as myself. So that's just the tip of the iceberg, really, when it comes to what we can do. For the next 10 days, I'm obviously going to be building a more complex app than this, and more on that later. If you've enjoyed this video so far, feel free to tune to the next ones, and thanks for watching. Take care.